You're gonna get a Caucasian female to be right there next to your black gentleman when Battlefield comes.
What's that? Oh yeah,
Battlefield 5 comes.
Oh,
the motherfuckers was tripping. I'm cracking up at that shit.
Hold on, one second.
Oh man,
shit. I forgot. I gotta get D to new link. Hold up.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we are live.
1 second.
We are live though.
We live?
Yeah. Yo, guys, I actually I had a reason to power up my PS4, man. There's only 2 games I've been playing. First one is Destiny 2 because of the Warmind expansion and Iron Banner. But I powered up my PS4 for that H1Z1 open beta. Has anybody played that?
No, I didn't get the chance to play it.
I played it for about 15 minutes. It's PUBG, basically. Exactly.
Just quicker.
PUBG.
Just quicker. It's just quicker. The map is smaller. But you know, the graphics are a little bit better in terms of like what they're showing with lighting, reflections off the water.
4.5 million players right now.
Yeah, they said it's out. It said it performs much better than PUBG.
Well, it's 60. A lot smaller, man. Yeah. That's why.
Well, 60 frames per second. So
60.
Z is on that diabetic podcasting. What the hell, Z?
What's funny is like the PlayStation man, like we don't even like those type of games, and then 4 later, you know, I'm just saying. Like everybody,
any battle royale right now. That's why, you know, we you know, and I know that you hate COD right now, and you're really against it, and rightfully.
I don't hate it. I just, man, I don't want away something that's always been there. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very kind of anti-consumer, but that's why when their battle royale comes out, it's just going to be over. In my opinion, it's going to be make mucho numbers, big numbers,
probably.
And, it's kind of sad because you know they know that they can get away with the single player aspect, and I've sold you, and I agree with you, but I just know that you know there's no contest here.
That could be one reason why PUBG hasn't gone to the PlayStation yet, and PlayStation is really not worried about it because they got Fortnite that they have they're killing it over there, plus the fact that they got this H1Z1. I know both games will be on the Xbox, right? But it's just the fact that you know, PlayStation fans is probably not going to want to play PUBG by the time.
It's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah, it's not going to be a big of a deal. So
like
it would probably make sense. Yeah, it'll probably be better off for it to stay exclusive.
I don't know
to Xbox or PC.
What the deal is with the PUBG developers. Like they're so slow, it seems, to optimize their games. It seems like they're getting like swept up. Like think about this. Fortnite. It's like literally look at the content they drop. Like you got Thanos, you got this, you're on season 5 or whatever. You know, it's like 60 frames per second in 4K. You know, then you got PUBG and you go and play it, and they're like, well, we got the second. You can't even wear shoes in it or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like
bought for me if he bought for everybody else.
I love when he's botting.
He's botting.
It sounds like he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
well, no, I'm not trying to bot, man. It's the internet's bad right now.
It's all right. It's all right. But no, you know, I mean, it's funny, but you make good points. You know what I mean? Imagine that. Remember when we all said Xbox has to buy PUBG, and they should buy. If they had bought it, it'd be a joke.
You know what? I think what happened with PUBG is my opinion. What happened? Do I sound clear? I sound good? Precise?
You sound fine.
Okay, you know what happened? And again, I blame some of you. How you say the millennials, the alt left, when they had a chance. Whatever the case. Remember, the developers Blue came out and said they had PUBG up to what 45 frames or whatever the case may 60, be. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then they dialed it back, and you had I don't want. It's not fair to the gamers and just that and the other. Look here, you don't hear not one complaint on Sony side because the game is. I think 40 frames on the standard.
I can co-sign that, Z. I can co-sign that, Z. I could definitely co-sign that. I think you're absolutely right. I think I think the previews. Well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say this before you get it. I just think that the previews program has been almost pretty much disastrous for Xbox in to some degree. I think it's great that we get to get games first, but by the time that those games get finished, they usually go over to PlayStation anyway, and then those games are already they're fully developed, and so they don't, you know what I'm saying? So we're being basically like the beta testers. Yeah, we get the game for free, But I mean, when you look at a game like
no, you don't get it for free.
I'm sorry, not for free, but you get the game. We get the game not for free. I'm sorry, you get the game for a cheaper price. But the fact that you got to go through all these woes and before this game gets to a certain point, and just like that one game that came out that we were talking about that surprised everybody that was going to the PlayStation. I can't think of it off of my head. It kind of reminded us of BioShock. I forget the name of the game right off the top of my head, but that game with the game it looked really cool.
I got just E3 dancing in my head right now. I have no idea what
you're talking about. I know it's
happy something or something.
We
happy few.
We happy few.
Yeah, we happy few. Everybody was hyped for that game, but then when people started playing it, they
go back and play it again, man, because that shit they
totally changed it.
Well, they totally changed it. So the people that got the game, I'm pretty sure they're disappointed because the game is nothing like what it was when they first got it. So, but the PlayStation fans got the best version. So I'm agreeing with you, Z, on that.
No, but I'm gonna take it one step further. When I'm just talking about Microsoft being afraid of their own shadow. I remember how you splitting up the player base, or they didn't want the people that bought the S to build.
That was never true though. See, the fact of the matter is that the dev came out, said it was 60 frames per second.
Well, he said 45. He said 45.
No, he said that they have it up to 60 frames per second. And he wasn't telling the truth because when the game came out, it was freaking running in 17 to 15 frames per second on the drop. So
okay, I'm just saying. I'm just going back to the article where they originally said at the E3. Yeah. They said a week from after having the dev kits, we all talked about probably one of the Bgst, that they had the game up to running in 45 frames per second after 1 week of having the Xbox One Project Scorpio dev kits, right? Now,
and he said he misspoke. I mean, that game can't even
miss. I don't know. Motherfucker lied.
But here's the thing. But again, I'm just saying. But I remember again, there was a big backlash in the community. Oh, we don't want. It's not right to have different frames. And then again, what I'm saying is this: on the Sony side of things, when you have H1Z run, the people that have standard PS4s, they're getting 40 to 45 frames. But if you have a Pro, your shit is running at 60 frames, right?
No, it isn't.
What you pay for?
Go look at DF. It's running at 50. It's
whatever the case. One is higher.
You're not talking about 60-30, though. That's what
that's fine.
But also, Microsoft. Yeah, but hold on, Microsoft
50-40, not 60-30.
But so Microsoft,
that's what they were originally. People thought that PUBG was going to run 60 frames per second. That was a complete misspoke, or as D said, a lie, because the game came out and the
let me say, Microsoft said
wouldn't even come close
about the frame rate disparity. They don't care. You're allowed to do it. It's up to developers, so it's not up to they don't.
Microsoft haven't said that, but that was a whole. That whole thing was not. There was nothing ever implemented on that. That was the stupid developer misspoking or what's talking out of his ass.
Oh, so you don't think he was handcuffed? You think he just came out and just lied all across the board about the goddamn game?
Of course.
Look at the game. It's not just running 14 seconds. It's running 14 frames per second. Use your mind.
I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
60 frames per second.
State of the K runs better on 2013 hardware than my final.
You don't have any proof of that. You don't show the article. You don't even know the article.
What proof of that? What are you talking about?
He said it was running 60 frames per second. He said that it ran, and it never did.
Hey, Tim, I'm way past that. I'm saying my proof of that is I have a $500 goddamn console, and I have a 2013 hardware is running games are running better on that goddamn console.
Well, to be fair though, it is running at a much higher resolution, so that has to account into the lower frame rate as well because it's more performance on it, right? So they need to tweak it more. But the reason why it's running,
I heard the reason why it's running low is for CPU. The reason why it's because of the CPU bottleneck.
Oh, somebody got to pay the bills. Big shout out to Pop Off
for the $5. No, we're talking about PUBG.
My brother Pop Off.
Pop Off!
Pop Off! You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like, man, I've been sold a goddamn brick in a box. Where's these fucking 10 turboprops? Oh, goddamn, man, this shit is crazy, man.
You know what, Z? In all honesty,
diabetic coma. I'm dying over here, bro.
It's all up to the developers because you know what? The multi-plat games, we're seeing that the X is a lot more powerful. So the power is there. It's now the developers are.
It
is night and day. What are you talking about? On the multi-plats, have you been watching Digital Foundry, man? Because it's a night and day difference on these multi-plat games.
And listen, to be fair, I can't tell a big difference between 900p and 10. I always thought this shit was kind of silly, but you know, I mean,
it always was, man.
Yeah,
always
was. They might run at a higher resolution, but they don't look that much better graphically.
Well, like, first of all, they're using like higher quality ambient inclusion. They're using better textures on some of these games. Of course, they have a higher resolution, and some of these games have higher frame rates. What do you mean? There's no difference? It's a big difference.
I don't graphically.
Big difference in games like Ghost Recon. Certain games really show the difference. You know. Other games,
some multiplats just do an up-res or whatever for the more powerful system, but some of them they actually take advantage of the X and put in better textures and stuff like that, man.
Few and far between. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
not for the multiplats. For the
I think so. They just announced.
We're talking about Far Cry. You're talking about Battlefront.
I can talk about Tekken,
Wolfenstein.
Shadow
of War, which does the 4K assets.
Oh my God! Injustice,
Call of Duty,
Justice 2 looks stupid on the X. I mean, yeah, you're right about Tekken, but I mean, you look at Monster Hunter's World. That looks better. You see Assassin's Creed, that looks better. A Far Cry 5, that looks better on the X.
I'm sorry, man. And maybe it's the fact that maybe the fact that Microsoft gave me diabetes and I'm failing, but my eyesight is going. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I said, I was out there chasing chickens while my PlayStation brother was out there.
And Sea of Thieves for the fucking win. It's a fun game, man. I mean, look, I
don't know about Sea of Thieves, man.
Sea of Thieves is fun, but I will say this:
Sea of Thieves is fun for an hour. After an hour, it's pure Z's for me.
That's your opinion, D, and I'm not disputing that. There's a lot of people
very repetitive. Like, how many chickens and snakes can you fucking chase?
Well, it's not about chasing. I was chasing the pig. You know what I'm saying? That shit was funny to me because I want that gold pig. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My boy, the dog.
You can tell by the tone in his voice, like he really wants that pig, man.
Oh, I got that pig.
That new content drops tomorrow, so that's gonna be nice.
I can't wait.
The Megalodon.
Yeah, the Megalodon
gets its body.
Maybe the Kraken will get his body. The Kraken is a thorn in my ass though when it comes up there and try to take our boat. But I will say this: I do like State of Decay better than Sea of Thieves. I do.
Wait till Crackdown comes out, man.
Well, Crackdown's one of my most anticipated games next to Detroit, and so I feel bad that I didn't get it.
2019.
I'm getting it
in 2019.
I don't know. I've never really been. You like the previous Crackdowns, K-Maker?
You know what? I've only played the first one. I didn't never play the second one.
Two games. Don't waste your time.
It's to me, it's the multiplayer that got me to make it the most anticipated.
We haven't seen much from it though.
Well, I know, but that's, you know what I'm saying. I'm a big, huge fan of Battlefield, and so you telling me that you're going to have more destruction than Battlefield, I'm all on board. That's what got me. That's what made it from okay, I'm finna get Crackdown to this is one of my most anticipated games because of the multiplayer. Not so much of the single player, the multiplayer.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying we haven't really. I'm just saying which I just find kind of ironic what they're hanging their hat on it, this being this big multiplayer thing. We haven't really seen anything from it really to sell me on. I'm hoping that the game is great. I'm just saying this Crackdown has never really been that upfront Halo or Gears type game. So I don't have any.
It's not like they can't do that though, Z. It's not like they can't do that.
That's why it got delayed. They put more money into it. It could be a bigger game.
I don't know, man.
It's never going to be up there with the Halos, or it'll be. So hopefully the multiplayer promise comes through, But as time goes on and we don't see anything, the doubt, shredded. It definitely comes in. For me, I'm doubting the game now because, they delayed it, and I've heard that they threw more money in it, and now I'm hearing possible delay to 2019. I mean, at that point, it's just, I don't know. It becomes an afterthought.
Well, 2019, it better have like completely different graphics, a complete overhaul for it to have any chance. To be honest with you,
I have to agree with that. I mean, look, it's me and Bot is no doom and gloom, and I'm not gonna do all that crying shit. But to me, but if you're gonna delay a game, then it has to have the polish. It has to have everything working.
Yeah, I think D is trying to say take it out of cell shading and stuff like that. And with that, I definitely don't agree with it. That is the art style. That is the game, man.
Well, they could keep the shell shading. That's fine, but they should it needs to be more detailed, more.
Rumor is that they're adding more multiplayer modes and stuff like that too. So I was only going to have the Wrecking Crew mode, which is the full destruction stuff. So they're adding different stuff.
Here's a question. I'm sorry, crap. Whoever. Do you guys have high hopes for the game? Do you think they will deliver on what was promised?
Yeah, I do. I mean, look.
I think the multiplayer is going to do what they intended. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm officially worried about it. You know, I'm going to be completely honest because I was one of the biggest guys that was like cloud compute, this and that, this next future. But the way they've been about it, the way they've been so cagey about it, it kind of, you know, at this point, 2018, I felt like the reveal was, I think that they went in thinking that they were going to have somewhat of a revolutionary multiplayer mode, and like, hey, the single player stuff cropped up, so hey, let's just get a third party, relatively cheap Sumo Digital, and let's make a single player game. And then when they put the single player game out, and Xbox players saw it, they're like, whoa, this is not what you guys were piping to us. So that was where it became kind of stunted, where Phil and the team probably said, hey, we got to make this better. So the single player, in my opinion, has held up the situation. And, right now, if they don't show this at E3, all bets are off. I think you have to really start to call it for what it is. It's a bad situation.
Here's the good news, though, Tim. They got to show it because rumor has it they're going to talk about this Cloud X project, which is a lot of third-party developers hopping on board with this cloud compute type situation. So I would assume that they're going to re-announce Crackdown 3 at that time.
Well, I've heard that, we remember when we talked about Xbox Cloud and, I talked about it being a streaming service. Well, Rectify Gaming, they do have a really good source, and you could read some of their article. I've posted it, but you can go on their site. They're saying it's not what we think it is. It's more or less the Xbox Cloud situation, which remember when we said it was going to be like PSN, you'd be able to take your game anywhere, it'd be a streaming. It's not that, they're saying. They're saying it's a little bit more in depth than that, and it's more about like stuff like Crackdown 3, that type of cloud compute, and I think that they're making some type of they're going to have some third party sign on, and they're going to start ramping up these type of games. That's what I've kind of was hinted at, or it's something of that nature. It is not more of a service thing, but I've also heard too that there is going to be a big service announcement too at E3. So, I don't know what it is. It's interesting, but look out for those two things.
I can confirm that.
Yeah.
What?
I said it's not free Xbox Live. I know that.
Yeah, it's not that, but I heard that though. I heard the just wait type talk. You know what I mean? Like there's something in the pike for the services or Game Pass. And also this Xbox Cloud thing, how it ties in and what it is, it's different than what I think we were originally spectating, and it's more around based around video.
I have a question.
Repeat that last part. What'd you say?
Pay the bills, Z.
It's more around based around video games. Like it's more about the games itself using cloud compute.
All right. Sean, shout out to my man, my brother Sean W. He said, Showman W. I'm sorry. Any game being backed by Microsoft is how I feel. A company that's pursuing $1 trillion in net worth gets no excuse, even the smallest games they back. And again, you know what I mean? And not to, I talked about this in the past. And I just want to add to this, and maybe you may feel different. Just go back to what you were saying, because I got a question for you guys. I'm just saying, even coming from the original, like I said, I'm just used to having big games. And the games that we got, maybe people won't, like I said, focus on if we had the other stuff to go along with it. You know what I mean? They're just, well, even in State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, they're not the Halo, those are not the Gears, those are not the Forzas. You know what I mean? And this again, in 2 years, it's all that we've gotten. So that's why
you're appetizers at best, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand though, because we continually beat this into the ground. Like we know they got to do better. They stop creation
but
games.
Do they know?
Yeah, I think they know. I think they know at this point. The problem is that, you know, it might be at the point where it's a little late and people want results fast, and this is something where you don't get results fast. This is something where it takes 5 years.
Yeah, but they could start teasing these things at E3 though.
Start saying stuff like, "Hey, you know, I'm hoping because I'm hearing, you know, no Halo 6, no Fable.
Jesus Christ!
You know, I'm hearing that, but if that's the case, I'm hoping that they do have a state of the union address on video games, like, and say, hey, we have
union address,
whatever you want to call it. They say, well, you know, we have 9 AAAs in development. Now, if you remember 2013 when Xbox had that awesome show and nobody cared,
good show.
They did do that. They said, hey, we have this amount of games in development, and we put this amount of money towards
$1 billion.
Yes, so I want something like that. And I think that if they don't do that and they don't show that, that's a miss.
Okay.
I'm going to grade them on that for sure.
I want them to do a Sony. I want them to do a Death Stranding. I don't give a shit if it's like 3 years out. Just fucking show something, man.
Okay.
I think everybody wants that. I think everybody wants.
I think they need. I think it's more than us wanting it. I think Microsoft needs to deliver something like that. Just show us like 3 new IPs that are in the work. I don't care. Just put, hey, it's pre-alpha footage. Who cares? Just let us know that something is on the way.
I don't think they could show alpha footage. I think if Microsoft wants to play it right, to tease anything properly that's for the future, they would have to just strictly stick to computer-generated graphics. They can't come out with gameplay because Digital Foundry and everybody will beat that shit to death. And even though it is only pre-alpha, they will still kill the game because that's what they did with Scalebound too. So let's not forget that, folks, because that happened too.
And the Halo beta.
Exactly. All they need to do is just come out and all they need to do is come out and say, here's a Fable 4 teaser. Don't even put a date. Don't even put a year. Just say that it's there. Just
look what they did the whole Smash Brothers thing and just put the name up on the screen. That's all you got to
do. You could do that too, because look at Last of Us 2. They showed the girl playing the guitar. You know,
well, that damn trailer. Oh yeah, you talk about that trailer. Yeah, I was the second trailer was.
Microsoft needs to give us a Rise 2.
It's probably not going to happen.
Never gonna happen.
All right, man. I'm still holding. I'm still holding hope.
I agree that they should show that then they have a sense of urgency, but unfortunately, I don't think that they subscribe to that type of thinking. I think that they think that as what we're doing right now and the hardcore doing is the hardcore just being hardcore, and you know, not being them doing that would be a panic move. Which I kind of disagree with that, because I think that the hardcore definitely deserves some type of answers to C3.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that they do that, and I'm going to hold them to that. So that's one thing I'm going to hold them to.
I got a question. Go ahead. I have a question though. All right. And again, this is and the truth, like I said, Tim or whoever. Do you think there's a big disconnect from what Microsoft, and so like I said, I've been saying this for a minute. It seems like there's a big disconnect between what they're given and what their core want, or do they know what their core wants? Even just going back to those shows inside at Xbox, and that just, I mean, that's not us or me, and what make me an Xbox guy. Everybody, that's like some pre-Nintendo goddamn Skittles type shit. Do you think there's a big disconnect between the core and what they're giving us or willing to give us? You know
I don't think so. I think personally that with inside Xbox is a corporation thing. I mean, you got to look at it from all big corporations. They do that ho hum. Everything is cool, cheesy type of thing because they're a huge corporation. I mean, that goes down the board for everything other than video games. I think they listen. Phil Spencer said himself that he had to learn a lot of things. He first made a mistake about the single player thing. That's the one thing about Phil that I really enjoy, is the fact that he can come out and he can be honest about his own mistakes and then bring it out there, and people go out there and go crazy and say this and that. But They do know. They hear it. They hear us. They hear the whole thing. But they also know that they also want to make money.
But are they listening when you say they hear us?
They do. Do they care?
Yeah, they do.
Because
that's a different question.
Here's the thing, and this is the granddaddy of it all. And I'll give credit to Porter Rock. I think he said it in one of the chats that we talk in. He said, the thing about Microsoft that you can argue or whatever is that Phil's good for Microsoft, but he might not be good for the gamer. And what he meant was because Phil has made Microsoft
$2.5 billion
profitable, and you look at like taking away the marketing deals, and you look at like taking away some of the stuff that the hardcore wants, like these big surprises and these big AAA games, and kind of going on a more of a budgetary
diabetic diet,
and that's gonna make Microsoft happy and look at Phil and say you're doing a great job. But the core is gonna say, well, you suck. But the fact of the matter is that they're making money. So where does that leave the hardcore? And
okay, you know what?
That's kind of a tough question. Because
here's let me
leaves us in a situation.
Let me expand on that, Tim. It actually was me. I don't know what episode I was saying that. He asked me, if you're talking about the same, he asked me, is Phil doing a good job? And I said to him, yes, he is. The fact that, and again, it's crazy, right? It speaks in volumes. The fact that they made $2.5 billion over with giving us games like Zoo Tycoon, this, that, and the other. So he's good for business, you know what I mean? But for somebody, maybe me or some of the other people that may feel a little disgruntled with just the old realm at the gate. And they gave us games like Quantum Break or Eva or Sunset Overdrive or whatever, and didn't make anything, you know what I mean? Or games as a service or whatever the case may be. So that's why I said I wasn't really so happy with, when Phil moving to the vice president of gaming, this, that, and the other. But again, I'm just saying, the fish rots from their head back. I'm just saying he may have had another boss, Terry Myers, this, that, and the other. I'm just saying a lot of the decisions that have been made that I don't like, that have me feel separate. Since he's been in charge, but is putting again, I'm gonna hold him to his word here. Our day and date on PC, right? And then he feel out his own mouth said that he said that there are going to be some games that are going to be exclusive to the Xbox, right? Still waiting to see this. Then he turned and said, and there's going to be some games that's going to be exclusive to what do you call that shit? PC. To Windows 10. All right, now since then, I don't care about Age of Empire. And again, I'm not into RTSs, but that's exclusive on PC. They just stealth release a goddamn Miami Street Racer. Goddamn Dave and Buster got a goddamn exclusive goddamn Halo game. So my thing is, where's the goddamn end game? I didn't spend any $3,000 in hardware alone.
Hey Z, Z, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Do you think Phil or Microsoft feels they don't really need to cater to the hardcore because they think the hardcore already has both consoles, so they focus more towards the casual and getting the new customer?
I don't think it's about like hardcore having more consoles or anything like that. I do think they kind of cater to the casual market because that's where all the money is really made. I know Z likes to say how much he spent money on consoles and stuff like that. And
but don't you hear that they make more money in software? So if they make more money in software, where the fuck is AAA gaming, right?
I spend more money on software than casuals, and all of us here do. A casual is just going to buy Madden, Duty, and 2K and Call of Duty, and that's about it. About 3 games a year.
And maybe buy God of War and not finish it.
You know what I mean? I'm like 10 casuals wrapped up in one, and all of us are here. You know what I mean? So they should, even with those shows, here's the thing, right? Real talk.
But you're in a community that's smaller than the casual market. I mean, you can look at the numbers themselves, man.
Listen, this is what I'm saying at the end of the day, right? Hear me out. Maybe you may understand this, right? Even this, I'll ask you a question about their shows and who they're advertising for their show, right? Regardless of you like Sony and they do a good show and they advertise, it's the same thing. Sony, wants to do things for the casual too. But when they do those PSXs and stuff, whether I like those games or not, it's good for their fan base and to their core and to their morale. So why is it strange? I'm talking like I got 3. and for us to want the same thing over here, whether the casuals or whoever, or when Nintendo does those goddamn treehouse events or whatever, their core should eat that shit up. Why can't we get the same or demand the same thing over here?
Then we get inside Xbox and everybody.
That's not for me. That's not for me.
But you're getting E3 and nobody really else is showing up this year. I do understand what you're saying. I do think that they are planning another show in addition to E3. But you look at E3 here, and it's pretty much set. Everyone says, "Oh, well, you're going to get a deep dive in these 4 games," and Xbox is where all the surprises will come. But so what? They need to do it anyway. But the fact of the matter is that E3 is theirs for the taking. But to further your point and what you were talking about, and the hardcore, the hardcore might be in a position, and YouTubers, where we all hate on Xbox, we make fun of Xbox, and
can you blame them?
And that, and it's not going to affect them. It's not. They're not gonna. And I think this comes down to this thing like, where we say it's make or break E3. I used to say that. I don't think it is anymore because they don't think it's make or break E3. They're just what's the worst that's going to happen? What they've endured the last 3 months is worse than anything that they're going to endure in the next 6 months.
I think the beginning of last year was the worst.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But those are the times that they've went through where, like, if you're going to make or break, those are the times where if you had something to pull out of your sleeve, you're going to do it and you're going to break. They didn't break. And part of that is because, like you said, and Porter Rock said, they're making money. The Game Pass is a brilliant idea. It is making them money. It is a casual thing where people buy it and they forget about it and they stay subscribed to it. It's like Netflix. And it's only getting bigger every time they have a release.
Game Pass is going to be absolutely huge. When we
Game Pass is going to be huge.
When we do get like the Gears and the Halos and even Forza Horizon 4 or whatever, you will see even with State of Decay 2. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that 1 million users, that was Game Pass as well, right?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that was just players. And somebody once told me, he goes, "Hey Tim, what do you think is make or break?" And as somebody who's pretty big in the industry, and I told them, I said it's not going to matter. Because
Tim,
YouTube will hate on Xbox, and Twitter will be pretty nasty to Xbox, but it's not gonna end.
Okay, here's the thing. All right, but here's the thing. You know what? I agree with you, Tim, 125%, right? But I've always said that you'd be surprised who watches your channel. And right now, you got every day you little kids tune into whether it's crap, me or whoever to watch our content. You know what I mean? And it's your core, your hardcore. And I'm a small goddamn dog shit channel. You know how many times I got Z? Thanks to you, I got an Xbox. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. So when you lose your core, I understand there are far more of that. But we set the trend of what's going to be.
I agree.
So
I don't think they subscribe to that. I think that they'll counter you what you just said, and I agree with what you say. And I'm a proponent of.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean,
they'll say it doesn't matter. Everyone's playing it doesn't matter. Everyone's playing FIFA and
they are.
Everybody's playing Fortnite,
and PUBG. That's what they'll say.
Microsoft. Not only that, but Microsoft made a ton of money off of people re-upping their live subscriptions to play Fortnite, and that's a fact. And you shouldn't even have to pay Xbox Live to play Fortnite. It's a free-to-play game. So, I mean, but apparently their last quarterly results, a lot of that was driven by Fortnite, people playing Fortnite. And I'll agree that there is, and I've said this to Phil. There is a bit of a discord there, like Z said. Dave and Buster's gets a Halo game. PC gets an exclusive game. This phone/touchpad game or whatever, Miami Street. And it seems like everything's getting announced for things, everything but Xbox. Like, it's kind of funny. Yeah, it is funny at this point. Like, there is a little bit of disconnect there. But again, Phil's not the type. Yeah, Phil's not the type. Like, when you bring up, hey, you should make a game that really makes Sony fans jealous. He's like, nope, don't want that. You know, he doesn't want that. He doesn't.
I think he should want that, but
I know. Well, you know what I'm talking about, Tim. He told me that. You know, he says it. He's like, nope, I don't want to make people jealous or upset.
What the
you know, I want the industry.
I want to compete.
I think that it's part of competition that you should want to have your own Horizon. You should want to have your own Last of Us 2.
Well, he stated that didn't he say that he wants like Xbox to have a Horizon type game? So
okay.
But the thing is, you look at the hardcore, and this is we're talking in the hardcore right now.
Yes.
Looking at how much the hardcore has had to swallow.
Yes.
You know, if we said, okay, well, your games are going to go to PC.
Yeah, pause. Right.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. You could keep saying like the hardcore went through this and that, and like they're catering to the casuals, but the real reason why this will become a problem is next generation. When you got to pick which side you're going to go to, even more hardcore people are going to go to the PlayStation side because of how shitty this generation was. And we can see at the end of the beginning of this generation how that was already a bad thing. So you want to make that even worse next gen?
Okay, so the point that I want to make on this is that if they bring Quantum Break 2, right? If they bring Joanna Dark, they bring Fable,
Conquer.
If they bring, I'm just saying, let's just say those three, right? Let's just say those three games. Already, what I'm hearing and what Xbox fans are hearing is that, oh no, that's not good enough because of the fact that this is
not a new IP.
Yeah, you're already feeding the bait to the other side to make them say, well, that's not good enough because PlayStation has this, PlayStation has that, PlayStation has this. Okay. And to me that's a dangerous spot, because if Quantum Break 2 does come out, right, you're already going to have your detractors come out and say that game is going to be trash no matter how that game comes out, because they'll remind you of how it was 720p and that nobody supposedly play it or sells or whatever.
Show.
Right. Yeah. And so to me is if they do bring out those games, and then we hear the rumors about State of Decay that not State of Decay, but Sunset Overdrive, that they're going to try to bring a up-res X version of it. And that could lead to they might potentially want to bring another Sunset Overdrive to the picture. That would be fantastic. But of course, we're already starting to speculate that it's still not good enough. And then that's when the management's gonna take over and say, well, fuck it. If nothing's ever good enough, then we'll just keep doing what we're doing because we're making record profits. I mean, that's my interpretation of this so far.
Okay.
Well, I think it's never gonna be good enough. That's the problem.
Right.
Until they actually.
Well, as soon as the big title games start coming out and stuff like that, the thing that people are going to say is going to be like, well, that's not really Xbox exclusives, that, they're going to PC as well. They're going to rerun that whole thing. That whole gear is going to keep turning no matter what. And when it comes down to it, it's about the Xbox gamer and them keeping the Xbox gamer happy. You know what I'm saying?
They're the ones who put themselves there.
Hold on, let me pay the bills 1 second real quick. I've been trying to pay this for a minute. He said, Rossetti said, thank you, Rossetti. He said, Tim Dog is lying. H1Z1 is 60 on the Pro. And Rossetti said again,
nobody bought the Pro, man.
Go watch CF. Go watch Digital Foundry.
Hey, yo, I ain't gonna lie. The Pro stomped the shit out the X, the S, the Switch.
Oh, wow. Come on, Z.
Last one, that goddamn Pro kicked ass.
4.2 is the new 4.2 is the new 6.6. These guys understand how a computer works, how graphics work.
Having both the X and the Pro and a good 4K TV, the difference in graphics between the two or multiple is barely seen without a magnifying glass.
Kind of like how 900p and 1080p was, right?
Just like the start of this gen when you were pounding your chest about 1080p.
You fucking idiot.
I think he's next. I think he's the Xbox guy, but I couldn't tell the difference between 1080p.
Wait, isn't the Pro in like low stock in the UK though?
Yeah, that motherfucker's selling.
That motherfucker's selling.
So the X is going to sell once that price go down.
So you know when the X is going to sell? Not even the price.
When they get a big AAA game,
when
like God of War,
like take advantage of the hardware. They show why this console has a $500 goddamn price tag.
What State of Decay doesn't do that?
Oh yeah.
No, stop it.
Stop
it.
Awesome.
Stop it. It's a fantastic console.
Come on,
it is. I love it.
Let's not pretend like the X is a bad console.
It's
not powerful. The 4.2 is
so that's such a stupid argument to say that it's not a great. It's the best console out. It is.
Best
hands
console
down.
ever made. Yeah. Period.
As a PC guy, you know, I got much more powerful rig. I have to say the X is very, very powerful. The only thing that holds the X back is a CPU. So unfortunately, kind of stuck to 30 frames per second. But graphically, the system is great, man, and especially all the capabilities it can do.
I play a lot of games at 60 on that, though, man. Come on.
Yep.
Call of Duty.
It's great for
Battlefield, Killer Instinct, Forza, Motorsport,
right, and you also got it. And it's
Halo.
also it's up to the developer as well, gentlemen. We know that if the developer really want to go out and give all and show everything that they can do with the enhancements of the X, that's just up to the developer. I like Microsoft. I do like the fact that Microsoft doesn't, because I think that they would take away a lot of what we've had already, because you let the develop. No, I'm talking about in the sense for the third party, where you have developers have the freedom to do what they want to. Some developers just don't have the time. Some developers will come later.
For $60, they're gonna put that. Well, here's the thing, right? Real talk. We got to be honest. I got the world's most powerful console. I think the X when it comes to power wise, cool. But
so you debating?
Let me ask you, what are you going to get?
Developers, not Xbox.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Yes, what are you going to get? Red Dead Redemption 2 on the X or the PlayStation?
I'm getting on the Pro, but listen, I'm going to go there right in a minute, right?
You get on a weaker system.
Hey, listen, check it out, right? Because again, I have to right? Name me one goddamn exclusive that look better graphically wise in Detroit on the goddamn X. So that's why the X is not selling.
That's the problem.
That's why the X is not selling. Whether you like Detroit or not, visually and graphically, I'm talking about on the standard one, looks better than anything graphically exclusive wise on the goddamn X.
I disagree.
I don't know, man. Star Wars looks better than
I said exclusive wise.
I said Gears 4.
I think Gears 4 is up there with the best,
especially considering. Yeah, especially considering there's much more movement.
I'm a Gears fan. You think
God of War looks better than
God of War? You're the one that said it was the best looking game. One of your
you said
Detroit.
3 months ago, you said the best video was the best
man. I don't know.
Was breaking the body.
Gears look fucking amazing.
You can't backtrack the talk.
God of War looked great. The further I get in God of War, the more it looks better. I finally fought that dragon I had to punch in the fucking mouth. And
that dragon fight was fucking cool.
Yeah, that it was all right. You know what I'm saying? Throwing electrical.
Are you gonna say, listen, I love Gears.
That's still.
You gonna say Gears look better than goddamn God of War?
I didn't say. I'm saying Gears.
I'm talking to Tim.
Gears is close, man. I'm not saying that.
I
only. But now listen. Hold on for my defense.
Parts of Gears 4 that are absolutely stunning.
And you know, and
this parts of God are on standard.
I got the standard. I got the standard PS4. Well, no, I got the Slim, and there's parts of God of War that I look like, goddamn, that looks good. I'm not going to dispute that. God of War is up there in the tier of some of the best looking games that we've seen ever. You know what I'm saying? But Gears, when you play, even online, when you get onto that one stage with the lightning and all that shit, that is some of the most breathtaking graphics that I've ever seen.
Act 5 is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Gears is amazing. And look, I mean, and I want to bring it out. Rise is a launch title that was made in the old era, in an old gen, and that game still holds its own as one of the best looking games I've ever seen. No joke. But yeah, God of War is a beautiful looking game, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't know. I think God of War looks better than all those games. But Tim, you said earlier, who's going to win E3? Were you saying Microsoft could win it?
I said they're the only ones showing up. The other two are showing games that already. Isn't E3 supposedly about surprises and new games? I never knew.
I don't think it's about a surprise or game. I think it's just who shows the best games.
Yeah,
there's no way in hell Microsoft's going to beat up Sony's lineup.
So you're saying that E3 is now just about showing the next games. So what Sony did showing these games in 2016 and having a rerun in 2017 and having another rerun in 2018 is good. That's not good.
I mean, we could say it's bad, but at the same time, Microsoft had a bunch of surprises in 2017. I can't remember any of those games.
Let me say this. Sony, so basically you're saying Sony gets a pass for showing the same goddamn games again?
Oh, of course.
If it's like world-breaking games like God of War, Spider-Man,
listen, to be fair.
They're not, no. Listen, Crap Gamer sits back. Crap Gamer sits back long enough. Fuck that. They don't get a pass to show the world.
Red Dead and shit.
2 years in a row? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Whoa. 2 years in a row?
Hey, listen. Hey, listen, to be fair.
Get the fuck out of here.
Sony Games throw stomp the hell out of goddamn Xbox.
Fucking free pass, harder this pony bullshit.
But Microsoft would Microsoft would kill somebody if they come out that motherfucking so goddamn Recore and Lucky Tales year after year. Those
if Recore is came from being a AA game to a AAA game, of course, that'd be great.
Yeah, but to say Recore is a fucking surprise. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, right. That
it worked out fine because they're making a sequel. I mean, look.
Well, at least it's a new game.
Recore is dog shit, man.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's for the premiere probably. Last of Us 2 gameplay premiere. Shit.
Have you even seen gameplay from The Last of Us 2, Neville?
We're about to get it. That's what I'm saying.
We're about to get it. How many?
Have you seen that trailer? That trailer's awesome.
They announced it like
we're going off of trailers now. We're going off of trailers?
Hey, I'm just
gameplay trailers? Yeah.
We're going off of trailers now? Is that what we're doing?
Hey, well, I mean, what do you mean?
The Last of Us is a sequel to
You just wait, Mega. You just wait. That trailer showed us what the potential is going to be.
How long do you think that Last of Us 2 is off to?
Yeah.
Next year.
How long do you? When do you think
it could be next year?
Okay, could be next year, 2019.
Yeah.
That's probably 2020.
Yeah.
Probably the same. It's probably the same time Halo 6 comes out. So I mean, at the end of the day,
why ain't
you know that Xbox has games in the pipe.
I don't know that.
My point.
Sony gets in the pipe. We just don't get so many passes. They showed 14 games last year. 9 we saw the previous year. 4 were VR games. And one was the only surprise was the Shadow of the Colossus remake, and people still claim they won. Get real. They didn't even stay on the stage for an hour.
They're going to show Spider-Man again. They're going to show Spider-Man yet again. And that's
going to be a huge game. But what did Microsoft show that has you?
Microsoft didn't have a great conference, but they showed that.
So you're telling me that what one game was huge? What one game was huge?
Yeah, I thought that them just showcasing the X was huge.
What game?
Last year, I wouldn't say they had a strong show.
I've said this multiple times. Out of all the games we all have on our consoles, whether it be PlayStation or Xbox, what percentage of exclusives?
What percentage?
I have 662 games on Xbox One X.
All right.
My percentage of exclusive games is, I think, maybe 5%. I have 154 games on PlayStation. That's my exclusive box, but not even all of those are exclusive.
Okay.
It's such a small percentage. So why can I not be excited about playing the majority of the games that I play on the best box?
That was 2013 talk when that was that narrative, but that narrative.
Yeah,
let's be fair.
Did Sony not show the roadmap back then? Did they not show the roadmap?
Here's the thing, right? Real talk. We can be fair. We can get the biggest knife and we cut the bullshit. And again, exclusive is what give these consoles this identity. They both share 90% of the same.
Hold on, good exclusives give consoles identity. Not
okay, well, fine, but we don't have any good exclusives on the Xbox.
I don't agree with that, man. I think
there's a lot. 2 goddamn years.
I think
you hang your hat on.
Dude, I'm not talking about. I'm just saying. You said bottom line they don't have any good, and I'm saying no. That's not true.
I said in 2 years.
In 2 years, they probably haven't aside from the Forza games and Cuphead and. Those are
right now. Gears 6, you're gonna have Gears 5,
okay. In 2 years, right? Right. Let's go be honest here. What console is released?
You should say 1 year, not 2 years.
Because 2 years.
Because Gears came out 2 years ago.
Fine. All right, and
Horizon came out 2 years ago.
Okay, and God of War curb stomped the shit out of Gears and fucking Halo. 5 million and 28 goddamn.
Yeah, see, now you're talking about sales numbers.
Hear me out again.
You know what I'm saying?
In 2 years,
you're doubling the amount of consoles out. It should sell.
2,000 hours of Gears.
Listen, I love Gears. That's why I'm not being biased.
It was the best looking game on the
console. Very biased.
That's until goddamn God of War came out.
You made videos about it, so
that's until God of War came out.
You can't just shit on a game that you love.
Hey, listen, I'm not shitting on it. I'm just being honest, okay? I'm Gears.
It's a good game. It was good. You don't think Gears 6, you're going to be hyped up about Gears 5?
Absolutely. But here, this is what I'm saying, right? If we're just judging these consoles, here's real talk, right? Because we got, I guess, you know,
how many times do we have to go over the point they got their asses kicked the last 2 years?
No. So here's the thing, right? Because I hear a lot of excuses
for the last year. I would say more.
Last
year. Well, 2017 January, they've been pretty much curb stomped.
Yeah, Right. Last year they got
going forward. So this year at E3, and again, whatever the fuck the case may be, you just got one. You get Scott. I've been saying this forever. I didn't understand how Sony's just out hustling them. They're fucking just running fucking laps around them. What is Microsoft going to do? What are they going to answer the goddamn?
They're not going to do what you want to do. They're not going to do what Sony does.
They're going to bring games, and you're going to complain about it. You know,
I don't complain about it.
You'll be a big ass crybaby because even if they show Gears, you're going to find a reason to say something. Because if they bring up something with the Metacritic, you say you love Gears, but you come out and you say that game doesn't look up to par to any other game that's out there, you're lying. That's just a fact. You're lying. You're fraud. Gears of War looks so goddamn good, man.
Look, I didn't say it was.
You got to come out and you got to talk about a game that came out this year. God of War does look phenomenal. It's one of the best looking games that I've seen. I'm not going to dispute that. But Gears is one. But Gears 2 years ago still is one of the best. Almost 2 years ago, almost looks. It's right there. The enhancements and everything that you see with Gears is fucking dope. Come on, bro.
And it's not to think that Gears 5 is going to look like Gears 5 is going to be even.
Well, the rumor that the next
Gears
and
no
racers touch.
No, they're going to have two. They're going to have that's going to be a spin-off
until Horizon 4 comes out. No race.
This is what you want, Z. This is what you want, but you're not going to get. And I want it too, but we're not going to get it. They would announce Fable. They would announce Fable, which is in development.
I hope
they will announce. Just let me talk. They will announce Perfect Dark, which is in development. Okay, they're both about 3 years away, and they can show them the next 3 years, and we can make excuses and say how that's smart. They would show Gears 5, which is in development. They would show Gears by Splash Damage, which is in development. They would show Halo 6, which is in development. We're at 5 now, 5 AAAs supposedly, or around there. We can
for next
there's also for
perfect.
Well, here's the thing. Z. Microsoft next gen. They're doing incremental upgrades, and you're going to be able to play that shit on the current stuff too. So, like, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't really like that.
It's different,
but
than
Sony's.
I wonder.
Yeah, but they're like, hey, if you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Crap.
I was just gonna say, Sony might do traditional, where you have to buy that to play the PS5 games. But I'm almost 100% sure Microsoft's gonna say, if you have an X, you can play these Xbox 2 games fine. Right. So it's gonna really is it like phones?
I
just think that's what
strategy is like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways to look at it. Like, like that might give Sony an advantage to some of the core, but then Microsoft starts off with 40 or 50 million install base.
I've been saying that for a year. That's what Microsoft's plan was going to be.
So we basically going to say here's going to be an excuse now that Sony games are still going to look graphically better than because they're going to be built for the.
I hope not.
If they're going to run on the X, there's no way around it. That Sony games are going to look better than what we have.
Oh, you need to have somebody like the Don on one time. He's a developer. He'll explain it.
I can't take no advice from the Don. The Don said 30 was better than 60 frames.
Hey, listen,
I don't want no advice from them.
If the games run on the X, I'm sorry, if the X games run on the new console, it doesn't mean shit because they're running AMD hardware just like a fucking PC. Like I can get a more powerful PC, it'll just fucking scale up to it. That has nothing to do with it.
I listen in a perfect world, right? But how is that working out for what we have right now? It's not that big.
They're getting the better version.
We're talking about next generation. Microsoft has a plan for next generation. It's been set in place for about 2-3 years.
This was an iterative update, though.
Sony is pushing their console back 2 to 3 years because they have to implement two things. They have to implement backwards compatibility and the ability to either phase out PlayStation 4 and the $130 million pace and start new, or some way configure them within that scope. So
with some kind of Game Pass themselves. Look,
right.
PlayStation 4 is going to have the same problem. Well, let's say the PlayStation 5 is going to have the same problem as what the 360 had with the Xbox One. There's going to be so many gamers that's going to still stay on the PlayStation 4 that's why when everybody was talking about 2019, it was asinine because PlayStation is dominating so much that why would you want to
split your base?
Yeah, split your base, because if they weren't going to bring backwards compatibility, there was going to be so many gamers that was going to wait, just like they did with the Xbox One, in order to wait till the price goes down to get cheaper. That's why 2021 sounds so much more reasonable. By that time, and PlayStation needs to be smart and do backwards compat. Plus, PlayStation is going to still do some of their remasters with some of the titles like God of War, whatever. And it would just make more sense.
I gotta say this,
and they cannot do they can pull off a $500 console, but it would be a lot better for them to try to be around there.
Okay, I'm gonna say why 2021 is not feasible, because PC this year. We're going to get some new cards from NVIDIA. We're going to get some new cards from AMD that are going to take care of, not FreeSync. Oh, sorry, man. Brain fart. Ray tracing. And it's going to be a next graphical leap that's going to happen this year with these cards. Console cannot wait till 2021 to release another set of console, because they're going to start losing games.
Well, then why did the CEO say that it's 3 years in the process?
He said buckle down. He didn't say that the guy. It was some people, but I think it was the New York, whatever the magazine. One of the other.
Giuseppe was a.
He didn't say 2021.
I think in the
I'm pretty sure it's 2020 for both of them.
I think it's 2022.
I think 2020 makes sense.
I think it's 2021.
I think 2020 makes sense, but here's the thing. You're still going to be able to play your games on the old hardware. So it's just like PC in that aspect, where you don't, just because the new PC stuff is out doesn't mean old PC gamers can't play that stuff. Right. You know what I mean? It's
2020.
It's going to be interesting, but the fact of the matter is I think the next gen talk is definitely on the back burner. I think Sony for obvious reasons is probably, their R&D is working on that, but the longer that they can hold off, I think that they will. Because
they lived off of the remasters this generation. So the fact
what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to play Gears 4K 60 right off the bat for free, probably. Mm-hmm. Gears 4 right off the bat with the new system, but with Sony they'll probably have
Fable and other stuff too. By the way,
anything that's dynamic, but then anything. Like the multiplayer in Gears 4, you'll be able to play for free. But I do think that Sony will, when they have their system, you're going to have a new God of War 4, Enhanced Edition, 4K 60, all types of
Horizon Zero Dawn, Super Edition.
Right. Yeah. And people don't believe it.
Yeah, don't believe that Microsoft isn't aware that Sony launches their consoles with no games for the first few years. That's the perfect time to kind of pounce on them with your heavy hitters. I'm sure Microsoft realizes that, and hopefully they do that.
And then Microsoft unfortunately goes and takes a walk, and in 360, even you look at the end of the generation 360, they were doing Kinect games, and they weren't.
Thank you, Donnie D.
Be the behemoth who you are, Donnie D.
Donnie, go.
It was okay then because 360 was the mindshare console and was the popular console. Even though that, let's be honest, the last 3 years of the 360 cycle, I mean, they did have Gear, they did have Halo, but they did have a lot of Kinect games, and Sony was outpacing them at the time. And then Sony, at the end, they hit with the Last of Us, which was a start of their momentum going into 2013.
And what Xbox has to do is come out with that Fable or something of that ilk to bring out for the beginning, because we all know everything is going to be backwards compatible. And even if Xbox wanted to do the same thing in a certain degree to say, look, yeah, we know that you've been on PlayStation, we got a up-res version of Fable or whatever new game that they're going to be bringing out. And look, that's why I've been saying for the longest time to wait for Halo 6, because I think it would be majorly huge for them to bring Halo 6 at the beginning of next gen, since it's only a couple of years away, and bring out another type of Halo game or Gears game to complement that. Because if you start bringing out some of the old games that Xbox has that owns the rights to, nobody's going to care about Halo until Halo is really ready. And as long as you do what you're supposed to do with all the rest of the games that you have in your portfolio, nobody's going to clamor to demand Halo until you're ready. And I think that's the smartest strategy to launch to the next gen and say, look, we're committed, and PlayStation will not have a game like that unless you know what they have? PlayStation won't bring anything to the table at the launch of the PlayStation 5 that will complement that unless a remaster.
Hey, Mega, Tim, Crap, Neff, do you know what the truth is? The whole truth, so help me, Kratos. They don't have to have a game. What Sony has is the consumer confidence. A goddamn greatness awaits, and they ain't bullshitting. Greatness, goddamn await. They can launch the goddamn PlayStation 5 with NAC 3, goddamn Dreams, and some other shit. It will be fine.
I don't
care.
Well, then that just shows that you just lowered the standard for them.
Right.
Look what you're saying. It's okay to do one thing.
Hold on. You have to hear them out, though. It's because people are going to go off the PlayStation 4 generation.
And the PlayStation 4 generation is just not going to jump over to the PlayStation 5 so quickly. We've seen that with the 360. The reason why the PlayStation 4... Hold on. Listen, come on, man. Let's be logical here. The two reasons why the PlayStation 4 was so...
Wow.
The two reasons why the PlayStation 4 was so successful was, one, because of the price point. Xbox shot themselves in the foot by giving a $500 system with a fucking peripheral that people wasn't asking for. You know what I'm saying? That was one. Two, it was also the fact of the
DRM
for the hardcore, not so much DRM.
No,
DRM was
huge. Reveal was huge.
Yeah, the reveal.
The reveal
was the biggest problem. Because people start talking about TV sports, and you know what I'm saying. The DRM, I don't. A lot of people didn't really understand what the DRM thing was about. I say it was the presentation, because PlayStation hit it out the park. And then you had
Resolution Gate, which was really something that
360
we can
fans,
all pretend
didn't
exist.
Yeah, they didn't want to jump. They didn't want to leave their 360 because they were completely content. And another thing, a third thing that was a huge factor, because this was two of my homeboys. They were ready to jump on board, but once I told them that the interface was different and it was following that Windows 8 shit, that killed their momentum as well. It's like, man, I'm just gonna hold on and stay on my 360.
Here's the thing, right?
They had a ton of mishaps. Let's be honest. They had a killer 2013 show and nobody talked about it. Everyone talked about everything else.
I did, but here's the thing though.
You did. You were one of the few dudes, but
and that's why I'm being honest here. If you're just comparing these companies' portfolio, because it all boils down to the game. I remember we used to tease Sony guys about greatness waits, right? I'm just saying, if you're taking their track record from the PS1, the PS2, and the PS3, you know what I mean, outside of Gears and Halo and Forza, what does Microsoft have? With Sony, they have, again, brand new goddamn games that have taken things to the next goddamn plateau. So if they don't, I'm talking about having the consumer's confidence. That's what I'm not saying is right, but having the consumer's confidence.
You're definitely right. They have brand recognition.
There you go. Me being a
blindly, sort of like Apple owners. But me being a diehard
Xbox, my faith is shaking. I don't know what the fuck is going on out here. You know what I mean?
Well, they have to push. They have to make that right, which is why we keep talking about what we're talking
2 weeks.
About. Okay, 2 weeks. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you're not going to come. You're not going to come satisfied, because they're not going to announce the 5 games that they have in AAA active development.
Well, that's the problem.
Then what are they going to do?
It's all these.
They're gonna announce. I mean,
whatever they do, you know, they're not gonna show maybe Halo 6. And you know, the bottom line is that guys like us will say, "Oh, well, they missed it and this and that." But at the end of the day, we're not going to sell our Xboxes because when Halo 6 comes out, it's going to be absolutely huge.
Let me ask you this question. Hold on, Z. Let me ask you this question. Well, I'll ask the panel. I'll ask the panel this question.
Okay, pay the bills first before you go.
Go ahead, sir.
No, pay the bill. You can see it. I'm not. I do it.
I
Okay, Von Lamont said if PS5 end up having backwards compatibility, I think Sony is going to win next generation too. Sony guys would have a reason to jump the Xbox. God of War 5, not to take 5. It's not going to take 5 years because the assets is already in place. It's going to build them what they have.
They're probably doing 3-4 years.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, okay, but that was the question I was going to ask you.
Okay.
This is the question. Well, I'm going to ask the panel. Is this? What if Xbox? Because I think that's the perfect strategy. If Xbox brings Halo 6 at the launch of the new Xbox, what game other than to me The Last of Us can compete with Halo?
God of War 5.
That's not coming. That's not going to be a game that's coming at launch. We all know that.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's 2021. We don't even know launch date. So
the fact that it is.
How much are we going to keep saying Halo?
We're going to say Halo until Halo doesn't sell anything anymore.
I'm going to be honest. I think Halo's starting to get fatigued at this point.
Yeah, we said that about Call of Duty too, and how's that looking?
Yeah, exactly.
But again,
I don't think Halo's been not. We haven't played a Halo since 2015 . So
I'm just being honest.
A new Halo with the battle royale.
We need something new.
PlayStation has nothing except for the listen to what I'm saying. PlayStation has nothing to combat with if Xbox decides to bring Halo 6 at the launch, except for The Last of Us 2. That's the only game. God of War is not coming at the launch. Horizon Zero Dawn is not coming at launch.
You don't know that.
I do know that. We all know that. Those games are not going to be launch titles.
You don't know when the launch is going to be.
Look, I'll take Crow if they bring a Horizon Zero Dawn.
But you're also saying
and a God of War at the beginning of
what if they come with
PlayStation 5 launch.
Now you're also saying
the only time that they'll bring those games is when they're remastered. They're not going to bring a new version.
But what if it's a new game?
Spread them out just like everything else.
But what if it's a new big?
I don't think so.
They could put this. They could put Death Stranding out. But you mean to tell me Death Stranding is going to compete with Halo?
Listen, here's the thing, Mega. I think
PlayStation fans don't even know what Death Stranding is yet.
Here's the thing, Mega, and I think that Halo, and I know this is big for Xbox, Halo is no longer the behemoth that it once was. It's not.
They say it's not. It's still $1 billion franchise. Still huge.
Halo is on a decline. Whether we want to admit it or not, it is. The last Halo was not the Halo that we remember. Now,
hold on. What constitutes a decline?
The next Halo.
What constitutes a decline? Because I mean, when you want to talk about decline, hold on, Z.
Hold on. The decline. Hold on. The decline is less sales, less quality, less mind share from gamers. Okay, it's
I thought Halo 5 was one of the best quality games.
So let's you want to
let me just say this point. Let me see this point. You can talk. The next Halo.
You can rebut that.
The next Halo needs to be fire. They need to make up for this Halo, and I hope in the beginning of the next Halo they fucking kill off right away.
The best multiplayer that Halo's ever had. But let me dispute this, right? Because and so I want you to hear your point on this. Okay, you can say that Halo is on a decline, right? There has been no drop from grace other than GT. GT has had 15.
But we're not talking about GT. We're talking about fucking Halo.
That's PlayStation's biggest franchise.
We're talking about GT. I'm talking about Halo.
Come on.
We're talking about Halo launching against some PlayStation titles, and I'm simply saying that Halo needs to come with their A game this time around because the last one was kind of a failure.
I don't know if it was a failure.
How was it a failure?
Let me just hold on, lads. Let me just point something out real quick. All right, Halo 5 broke the previous record from the for sales making money within the first weekend of its release. Also, Frank O'Connor on NeoGAF confirmed 5+ million sales within the first 3 months. And you're talking about 2015. So 5 million sales on what, 15, 20 million consoles? That's a third to a fourth of your install base buying a Halo.
Okay.
And if nobody had, and if you think that nobody else bought Halo 5, other than that, then you're mistaking yourself.
Let me say this. I've played every single Halo, and this is the first Halo I didn't clear. It was just like
the campaign was bad, but the multiplayer.
That's an opinion, though. That's an opinion, though.
It's not an opinion. The fucking single player sucks.
Okay, the multiplayer is the best it's ever been, and that is what makes the money for all these games. Is the multiplayer. People, that's the thing. You can say whatever about you want to say about the single player. The multiplayer is what's the great. Why do you think Call of Duty is doing what they're doing?
Hey, Megan, you know what's crazy? You would never thought in a million years that we ever see that God of War would be a bigger goddamn game.
Exactly.
It could be, but I doubt it.
So that's like, it's on the decline.
It could be. It is.
How is it when
a million in 1 month?
People say
28 days.
No, hold on, wait a minute. Okay.
When it done, 5 million in 28 days.
Gears did at the beginning of when Gears first came out, it didn't outsell what Halo made. It didn't earn as much what Halo 5 made. You know that.
But I just want to point out that you guys are talking about. It's hard to really compare numbers of things when one is doubling the sales in terms of console sales. So that's kind of a really bad metric. The better way would say attach rate of the sales, which you would say the obviously be Halo at this point than God of War, even though God of War sold well. Even if God of War is at 7 million right now, and there's 80 million consoles out there, that's not as good of a attach rate as say 10 million Halo with.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think God of War is bigger than anything right now. I mean,
yeah,
it is. To do 5 million in a month,
28 days.
Really
God of War.
It's a fantastic game. Great single-player game, man.
I'm just saying.
I don't think anybody was saying anything bad about God of War.
You're not giving.
But what you're saying though, K-Mega, you're saying that if you want to push it back to development, let's say 2020, that's 6 years in development. That's a little long. You know what I mean?
Okay, that could be, but look, if it's all about strategy, right? PlayStation's had a fantastic strategy with what they've been doing, and if you think that they'll go ahead and they'll put out a PlayStation, they'll put out God of War and a Horizon Zero Dawn and a lad in
the rocket time.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. PlayStation is not going to shoot their load before at launch. They're not going to do it. That's what I'm saying. God of War could be ready at launch for PlayStation 5, but it would be asinine for them to do it because, there will be so many people that will jump over to the PlayStation 5 and buy those games. But then what else do they have except
why would it be asinine for them to release a God of War sequel at the launch of a PlayStation 5 and you think
at launch
sell consoles? Are you retarded?
At launch?
Wait, well, hold on. But you're saying they're going to release Halo 6. That's what's weird.
No, that's not weird. Look, if you want to, what you PlayStation
Halo 6,
so now it's funny because PlayStation did it master.
Hey, Mega.
No, shut up.
When has Halo ever been a launch
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point because before y'all try to make this shit.
On this war. Go out.
Let me finish this. PlayStation played it masterfully at the end of the PlayStation 3 generation because they put those games out, right? Yes. And what they did is they did remasters. So if Halo 6 would come out before the new Xbox come out and then do a remastered version, that would be fine as well. But I think it would be a lot more smarter for them to bring Halo 6 as a launch title to gravitate and get the Xbox gamer back into good graces.
Okay, fine. So why would that not be good for Sony to release God of War with the launch of the PlayStation 5?
Because it's not going to happen. PlayStation would shoot their load right off the bat.
So would Microsoft be shooting their fucking load with their biggest
That's not going to happen, man. I know you guys ain't really going.
I think the difference would be the rumors are that PlayStation 5 is only going to play PlayStation 5 games, so that's a very small install base to be shooting to have a that is. I mean, and then with Microsoft, they plan on being forward compatible, so you have that big install base in Game Pass as well. Yeah. So, and I think it's really stupid to kind of compare the two anyway. Like, obviously,
one is shit,
player stuff, and then like Halo.
One is shit.
One is a $1 billion franchise. The other one's catching up.
Wait, I don't understand. Are you saying Halo is shit?
It's not better than God of War.
Halo's a $1 billion franchise. God of War is not.
Hey, listen, let's be clear. I'm not knocking those that like Halo, and I'm not the big guys. But what we're talking about right now is what have you done for me, like One did 5 million in 3 months. One did a little more than 5 and 28 goddamn.
Yeah, one did 5 million with like 15 million consoles.
Now,
one
listen,
did 5 million with 80 million.
Okay, but
it's your biggest goddamn
I'm
game.
not understanding why people ain't understanding.
No, here's the thing. So more Xbox. Here's the thing. Real talk. Okay, if Halo 5 was great and it's still the behemoth, more consoles went on to sell, right? They went on to sell whatever the number is now. People are not buying goddamn Halo anymore.
Hey, people were buying the hell out of the Halo.
Let me finish.
No, hold on, no, because you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
The PlayStation fans
lie, numbers lie. When was the last time you seen Halo in the goddamn MP?
Hold on, wait a minute. People were already jumping on Halo because it was bundled. Yeah, Halo 5 sold so much because it was bundled, because it killed it in the holiday season. What are you talking about?
Argument, since like I said, you have 15, 17 million Xbox at that time, and it does incredible 5 million, and then you have
I didn't say it did bad. Here's the thing.
Wait, hold on. How many Xbox 360s were at when Halo 3 launched?
30 something million. 30 something million.
In 2006? 30 million.
No, he said no. Halo 3 launched in 2007, and that was when Microsoft sold something like 16 million 360s that year. They were at 30
Halo
million.
5 not even close to that.
No, because there was more consoles, of course.
And year 3 compared to year 5?
Come on, it's rocket time.
No, listen to what I'm saying. If you listen to what I'm saying, Halo 3 launched in 2007 with 30 plus million. Right?
All right.
Halo 5 launched 2 years into the cycle with 15 million to 17 million console. That's the difference.
Okay. So let me pay the bills right quick. Fuck all you guys. Emerald 14, shout out to my brother. Halo 2 has an amazing single player now. Strong suit. It is multiplayer. In fact, there's nobody checking for Halo. What's their new IP? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And I'm with you on that, man. If you guys enjoyed the show today, hit the like button. Almost 400 people here with you live. Playing with the show. But if you think K-Maker lost his goddamn
by the way, Halo 5 had an
hit the like button.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button, man.
Hit the like button and go Rockets.
Yeah, I'm about to make a video about this shit, man. I'm go ahead and do this.
Yeah,
you saying, please do. Yeah, let the haters come, man. Because I mean, they don't let them. I don't give a fuck. It's just what it is, man. I'm just saying. It just Xbox could have a great strategy, but PlayStation is not going to bring out a new Horizon Zero Dawn. They're not going to bring out a new Halo, God of War, and they're not going to bring out a new Death Stranding could be their launch title. But what I think PlayStation is going to do is what they did last gen. They brought out those games.
Greatness.
Yeah, well, I mean, regardless if you say greatness or whatever, but PlayStation is going to bring remasters if they do bring out Death Stranding before they bring out the PlayStation.
I think the best thing to do is just to have both if you can, because it's like I beat God of War. That's weeks ago news. I beat Detroit. Hey. I'm back on my Xbox. It's like, there's room for both. Have fun on both, man. It is what it is, man.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right here. Let me say this right here. I know you have this recorded. If E3, if Nintendo announced Pokemon, everything is going to be put on notice. I mean, I'm saying Xbox got to bring one hell of a show. And if Nintendo says Pokemon is coming to the Switch, it's going to be a Thanos. I'm just saying, the PlayStation, the Nintendo fans are some wild, crazy.
Hey, man, it is fun. It's like,
they're going
Mario
to be excited.
Okay.
Look, if you got to keep it real, right? That Mario Odyssey did what, 10 million? Come on. I mean, does that mean,
so that's what you can't say.
Does that make it better?
Yeah, but what's the install base though?
Well, no. Does that make it? Does that make it better?
But listen, we're looking at the install base.
Crickets, motherfuckers!
No, you just proved that point. Look at the install base.
Yeah, about to say, you didn't say sales makes God of War
everybody's fucking on it.
No,
you never said sales make God of War better.
Slap!
No.
Shoot out.
And what you said, the attach rate?
Hey, anybody want to go ahead and fucking rewind that where everybody got flapped up? That makes it a better game because people want to act like sales makes it a better game.
No,
and with that,
I'm
gamer out, bitches.
You said attach rate. And again,
get out of here.
Yeah, let that fucking bot go.
I need to know what PlayStation game is the game that can compete with the mighty Halo. That's what I need to know. Give me
obviously God of War.
God of War.
I love God of War. God of War is a fantastic.
Horizon Zero Dawn sold more.
Horizon Zero Dawn did crazy numbers.
The old God of War is a fantastic franchise. I'm glad that people are now really jumping on to the God of War bandwagon, even though it's Rise-ish. I've been playing it. I want to go ahead and beat this game. And look,
stop it. Stop it.
No, I'm not stopping it. Just accept it regardless. But you know what I'm saying? I am enjoying the game. I'm gonna have my first
session. One question, nigga. I'm real talk. People ain't checking for Halo no more. I'm just keeping this shit all the way.
Then you're foolish, bro.
I'm just saying.
People checking for Halo.
And all I'm gonna say is,
why do you think so many people are passionate about the Halo 5 story in Halo 5? Why do you think so many people are passionate about that?
Shit.
Because it sucks.
Well, okay, right? So listen to it.
Because we're not used to Halo being that bad.
If Halo had no relevance, right? If Halo still had no relevance, but people wouldn't have been so pissy about the Halo 5 story. But anyway, hashtag save lives.
Halo 5 story is what makes Halo less relevant. That's the problem.
Yeah, man.
Well, the multiplayer is resurrected the multiplayer, because I was not a fan of the Halo 4 multiplayer. And
so was the Halo community. They all hated that too.
Right. So that's what, you know what I'm saying? So they did the right thing. So I love the story. The story wasn't the best out of the Halo saga, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, shit, look at Halo El Dorito, the PC mod. That did crazy fucking numbers on the PC, and that's just classic Halo.
Okay, well, if that's what I'm saying. So if Halo goes to the PC, then Halo is going to just be the cream of the crop yet again. So I don't know. Like I said, $1 billion franchise, don't sell it out.
Wait, hold on.
That is one game that if it did go to the PC, I think it would sell a lot, because PC guys
PC guys want
for years for fucking Halo.
Well, to be fair, Halo 5 is on PC if you wanted to do custom games in Forge.
Hold up. Ross said Halo's not what it once was. Knock it off. And my man Von Lamont, Detroit #8 on Amazon chart.
No, bro. I listen to Rachel Maddow. I can never be a Trump supporter. You talk to my boy Crab.
Pikachu.
I just want to say that Crab. I mean, Meg, I love you to death, man. But my God. I've heard some of the crazy. Megan, today you was in rare form.
I was. Morgana had plenty.
All I'm gonna say is,
if we're gonna hate, it's all good, man. I just keep it real, man.
If we're gonna use old habits to judge PlayStation, Xbox does not release Halo as a launch title. That was only Halo 1, and every other Halo after that was never a launch title.
I never said. Oh, look, I said potentially. If Halo, I would want Microsoft.
Yeah, just like potentially throw God of War and shit out there.
They won't. That's what I'm saying. They won't.
Well, I don't know.
They'll bring a remaster to the God of War, but they won't
work that way.
I mean, look, you want to bet some money on it? I'll put some money on the wood.
Okay. I'm not betting money on shit. I'm just saying.
Shut the fuck up and let's get out of here.
All right, I just want for the record, though. Kratos was bigger.
If you ain't gonna talk with the money, then shut the fuck up, man.
Kratos is a much bigger franchise right now than Halo. That's just a fact.
Currently, overall, Halo is still bigger, but currently, now, God of War has the fucking crown.
All right. We out here. If you guys enjoyed the show today, BG is pretty good today. Hit the like button, man. Everybody was a very entertaining show. I enjoyed it. Laughing my ass off. LOL, right?
Enjoy. Let's go.